Happy Tuesday, Nasties. How you doing? Welcome to EST Afternoons here on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports. It's Joaquin Gage. It's Hernan Salas. It's producer Zachticum. There's two links out there. Make sure you click on the one with the thummy with Gager and my beautiful face on it. That is the correct one. And if you're chatting with your friends, let them know that's it. If you want to listen to us, EdmontonSportsTalk.com, TuneIn Radio, iHeartRadio, and you can watch us on the EST YouTube channel. Hit us up on the Nasty Chat. It's a little slow right now. Or text us 780-218-9999. Of course, it's Oilers game day as they host the New York Islanders. 7 o'clock. Tom Gazzola and myself will have the Oil Stream pregame show for you starting at 6, immediately following the Reed Wilkins show. Fun show today on tap here on EST Afternoons, 120 Heat and Smoke. I'll have 3 questions for the boys. At 140, Stefen Rosner, he's the beat reporter for the New York Islanders for NHL.com. We'll get a good idea on the Oilers' opponent, a team we don't get to see much out here, Gager.
Nope.
And then former Elks and CFL receiver, one of the greats, one of the best to do it, Emmanuel Manny Arceneaux will join us at 2:20. We'll talk about retirement, training some hockey junior players, and we'll get his thoughts on the Grey Cup. I got a cool little trivia question for him to see if he gets it regarding a player in this year's Grey Cup. But Gager, how you doing, my friend? How was a long weekend? Too long for me. Too long.
What?
Yeah, I don't like long weekends. I like to work.
Psychopath. No, it was good. My son it was just me and my boy. My daughter was in Vancouver, so my niece's birthday was on Friday, so went over there, hung out for a bit. Had to do a lot of work this weekend, and then my son he's 19. Don't really get it too much. Where he says, "Hey, Dad, do you want to watch a movie or whatever?" So I was going to go and watch the hockey game with some friends, and I just I couldn't. I stayed home with the boy. We watched a movie instead. Watched the game on Sunday. So.
And you made some margaritas?
Made a bunch of mescaleritas, which I perfected.
Nice.
It took me a while. Probably a good thing I didn't get out because I would have had to Uber. And then so. Funny thing, the weirdest thing happened to me on last night because my wife and daughter got in late and I had to go to the airport to pick them up. Their flight landed at like 11:55 at night. So I'm there and I brought my dog because you can bring dogs to the airport and that moment when the dog sees his mom and his sister, it's all great. And
he goes crazy.
Yeah, he went nuts and stuff. So. Sees them, goes running over, and this woman comes over. This is people are weird, man. Like she goes, "Oh my God, your dog is beautiful. I've got the same one." I'm like, "Oh, cool. Is he fixed?" And I'm like, "It's kind of a personal question, I don't go asking people if they're fixed or whatever." And I go, "Actually, he's not yet." And then they go, "Oh, mine isn't either. You want to breed him?" I'm like, "What?" Like she wanted to breed dogs at the airport, and I'm just I found.
Hold on,
I'm like,
he's in the car.
I am not pimping out my dog at the airport here. It's like some sort of weird Taken episode or something like that. So she wanted to exchange information, and I'm like, look, you're a psychopath. I'm not exchanging anything with you, especially not dog fluids. And we went on our merry way. But I found that was kind of weird to say to someone, just let's breed our dogs together.
Yeah, especially someone like that's more of like someone or at least an acquaintance
or a professional. Yeah. Like I don't know, man. Like I am I responsible for these dogs? I'm thinking, oh my gosh, am I gonna have these dogs out of dog wedlock and have these support payments coming for all these puppies eventually?
Yeah,
I'm not doing that.
That's crazy. So I played poker on Friday.
I thought you hated poker.
No, I love in-person poker.
Oh, you played in-person poker.
And guess who won?
One of your friends?
This guy.
Oh, right? My God.
Yeah. Like the first hour and a half, I was the short stacked. I was almost out. And then just because you can ask for a deck change when it's your turn to deal. And I did because I was getting nothing. And then the tides turned, and I ended up winning. It was pretty quick, too. It was awesome.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Over 2 bills.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And didn't bring anything in today, I see. Awesome.
And then Sunday dinner at the parents. My mom made lasagna, and then yesterday we made some ribs.
Oh, ribs.
They're really, 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 really good. So good long weekend. Good long weekend. Watched a lot of Tulsa King.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
I started watching The Penguin.
It's good, eh?
Yeah, you guys are pumping it up quite a bit. Maybe my expectations were a little. It's good. I won't. I think I'm 3 episodes in, and I hear it gets really good later. But yeah, it's good. I'll give it that. It's good.
It's good. We're going into episode 4, which, according to a lot of people, it's like the best episode of season 1.
Really?
Yeah. So it's, I like it. I think I can't believe that's Colin Farrell, first of all.
It's so weird because sometimes you can see him and then you just forget. If they don't win whatever the award is for makeup or something, it's crazy. He's wearing a full bodysuit essentially, and his walk and everything. I love the bad guy movies that you cheer kind of for the bad guy. He's an awful person. He's terrible, but you're kind of rooting for him.
Yeah, you're like, I want him to do well because he was always just kind of like the hitman or kind of just a soldier, right?
Yeah.
Now we don't want to ruin it for people, but let's get those thumbs up. If they're at an all-time low on this show, Gager. We're 11 minutes in. We're only at 15.
Jeez, man, relax. People it was a long weekend. Let's people ease into this.
That's why I don't like long weekends.
Well, they'll get there. I
don't like it. What was I going to? I see Rip City Steps message. Hernan, reaction to Canada's soccer drone report. So I'll just quickly let's see here. So head coach Bev Priestman and assistant coach Jasmine Mander directed, approved, and condoned the illegal filming of New Zealand's team practices at the Paris Olympics using a drone, according to a report summarizing an investigation. Yeah, I mean, Gage, I'm kind of over it. They probably won't coach ever again after this incident. But for me, filming a soccer team outside of learning their set plays, I don't see the advantage because you'll find out in 5 minutes what they're playing, formation, what their strategy is. I never understood this, but they're going to get punished, and I think it's fine. And it's not surprising, Gage. We all knew the coaches were in on this.
Well, it's funny because what I did watch was the sign stealing scandal at Michigan.
It's good.
It is good, and this whole thing, and I actually thought about the national team, the cheating with the drones, and I mean, gosh, I could see the sign stealing being effective. It was effective, but that team was a wagon too. That Michigan team was really good, but I don't know. I mean, they changed the rules now, right? So
but every team does it, and he just perfected it. He found different ways to do it. So for me, it was never about I don't know, because now even in the CFL, you're seeing when the player, the coordinators are calling the plays, you have people standing behind them with covering their plays. And I get it, but it's at the end of the day, it's whatever. They got film on you, man. It's
so the rules were you could look at other teams' film afterwards, but you couldn't go to the game and film it it was absolutely ridiculous that you could do that. So I don't know, man. It's it was a fascinating, and I kind of felt bad for what's his name, Stallion something.
Which one's Stallion?
That's his name. Because I mean, all this guy wanted was for Michigan to win.
Yeah,
right. Just wanted them to win for sure, and he bled Michigan colors.
He loved it.
Oh my gosh, it was absolutely amazing, and for him, I felt bad that he wasn't part of the national championship, and because he did say, I'll take the bullet for everyone.
Yeah.
But I mean, and who knows, but I mean, Harbaugh, he deserves a call to this guy and say, hey, thanks for doing what you're doing.
Yeah, thanks for taking
when you come down to San Diego and taking a couple games, you know?
Yeah. Steal some signs for us. Rip City Steps says, ice cold, Hernan. Well, I'll be honest, I don't really, like the soccer thing, I don't really care. Like, I'm just being honest. It is what it is. Like, there's not much to say. They got caught. I don't get why you would film a team's practice. I get it to a certain extent, but it's not like it's football, right? Where you're learning plays and all that. So, I'm just not very passionate about it. So I'm sorry if it was ice cold take. I just really don't care, to be honest with you. Let's get something to that Hernan is passionate about. Hockey.
Yeah, let's do it.
I guess you're already on to, guys. I heard some of your takes, but if you missed two, guys, you know what was interesting on the post game? I said, hey, good game for the Oilers. There's a lot of good. There's a little bit of bad. I did say, though, that I don't think that was their best game because I saw a lot of Vancouver, like, the Oilers played their best game. And I got ripped for it. And then we played Knobloch post-game, and he said the same thing. He goes, well, I know we scored 7 goals, but that wasn't our best game of the season so far. He goes, we did a lot of good things. Their goalie probably wants 3 back. But what did you make of the overall performance?
It was good first, right?
Yeah.
I like their first period. The second, they bent quite a bit. Getting up 3-0, and I was trying to see because I watched the game the next day because I already knew what happened. So you watch the game with a different view, like you're looking to how did they lose this, and there was just a few defensive breakdowns, but also some good plays by the Canucks to score those. Like the Pettersson goal was a skilled,
good goal,
very skilled goal, right? So. It just seemed like a team that wasn't the Oilers weren't as good in the second period as they were in the first. And then I just look at the third period as like Connor McDavid saying that enough's enough. We're not losing this one, being up 3 goals. And he asserted his dominance, drawing a penalty, scoring a goal, and then them putting out a reach. But then again, kind of this, I don't know, this team it gets up to 5th gear and then it starts to gear down.
3-0, 2 goals in a minute.
Like you can, I don't know why there's just not that continuous push, right? And just allowing Vancouver to feel good about themselves again.
And remember after Game 7 when they beat Vancouver and they're in the room and everybody was so happy and Draisaitl goes, but we got to stop doing this because they always blow leads.
Yeah.
Right? And he was like, come on, like we need to learn from this. And that game, Tommy and I were watching and I'm like, oh God, like not again. Like this is going to happen again. And you said Connor McDavid. Connor Brown turned that game around. No, I'm just kidding.
And Kulak. But I look at what happened to the Dallas Stars over the weekend. Like they get shellacked and then they go into Pittsburgh, right? And just dummy them, yeah. Like 6 goals in the first period. But what happens after? They win 7-1.
Yeah.
They don't allow Pittsburgh to kind of claw their way back into that game. They've got their foot on their necks and they're not lifting their foot at all. Right? And that's the kind of killer instinct that I'd like to see in situations like that, So
yeah, and Connor Brown, I was kind of joking, but he did score the big goal, gave him the insurance goal, the 2-goal lead, and that line finally stepped up after a brutal giveaway by Janmark in the second for a goal. But he had 3 apples and was named the first star of the game. Listen, I saw what Skinner did after the the third goal, shorthanded again. I get the frustration. I do. He's probably frustrated as a part of the PK. That's the same thing I said on the postgame. He feels a part of it. He is. He's a big part of it. Because when you have a good PK, usually it's because you have a good goaltender or your goaltender's playing really well. So he feels a part of it. And Darnell Nurse made a boneheaded play. Let's just call it how it is, okay? And I think Darnell Nurse has been a lot better than he was last year, so this is not a Darnell Nurse thing. And then he kind of shows him up, kind of like what Mike Smith used to do when he used to get frustrated with the Oilers team. But in this sense, I'm okay with it, Gager, in terms because he's fed up with the PK, which is historically bad right now. Really, really bad. Darnell Nurse is a guy that needs to be better as an older guy, as a core guy, and he can't make that play. I think he was also frustrated at Stecher because he kind of committed too much and left him wide open. So I don't mind what he did. And I know people are like, you can't show up your teammates, but I think from time to time that's fine. And I don't think it was that big of a show up. It almost looked like, because Darnell looked at him too, like saying, my bad, like that's on me. But Skinner for me was just a guy that's extremely frustrated with some of his defensemen and the PK, and he just said, come on, guys, like let's get smarter.
Oh yeah. And I mentioned it before, but that's what you want. I mean, you go around the league and watch other goalies, how in situations, you mentioned Mike Smith, there's a lot more guys that are showing up their players after poor play. The amount of times that Stuart Skinner could be able to, yell at people is ridiculous. So for this to be, after the start of the season, how things are going in certain games where he's played well and kind of, at times been left out to dry in certain instances, I think this is just it got to the point where and it wasn't even that bad. Like all he did was slash his stick and kind of want to get off the ice, and stuff. I understand it. I've felt that way before, where it's a game where, let's face it, that game, it was a good game, but the Oilers finally were able to take advantage of poor goaltending on the other team. That's the first game that they've run into American League goaltending. Not even, really. It fell off the cliff big time. So, and they took advantage of it. That's great. But you can't come out of that game thinking we were great because Vancouver's goalie sucked.
Yeah, it was Lankinen's first loss in 10 games, and he was due for one of those games, and good on him. And they sent Shelovs down to the minors yesterday, so they did call up another goalie, but I think Demko's a lot closer than we think. So look out for that. But yeah, Lankinen, the Oilers finally caught some breaks there and scored on a power play. Gage, before we go to break and we come back with Heat and Smoke, and we'll talk about this for the rest of the show, but I want to throw some Darnell Nurse numbers on you because it was a big topic on the X machine yesterday, okay? And this is, I want to be clear, I think Darnell Nurse has been pretty good this year. He's had some rough games. He has some rough moments like he did in Vancouver, but overall I think most people would say he's been good. Well, not great, good. So this is not, but I think these numbers we have to talk about because they're very, very interesting, okay? And there has to be context, right? Like I'm just stating the numbers. I'm not going to go shift by shift and every goal scored against him, but Nurse has been on the ice for 24 of the 48 goals scored against the Oilers this season. Again, we're not sitting here saying he's at fault for the 24. He might be at fault for 2 of them, but he's on the ice, okay? So his expected goals percentage is 44.13, which means that more goals are expected to be scored against than for when Nurse is playing, okay? So that's pretty telling. The Oilers' penalty kill is 58.9, giving up 16 power play goals so far. Of those, 13 of them are when Darnell Nurse is on the ice. Okay?
Yeah.
And then I'll read you a little bit more here before we get to break. And this is, I gotta give, this is courtesy of Jonathan Willis, who always comes up with good numbers. This is what he tweeted out yesterday. He said, it's a small sample, but the Nurse Ekholm PK numbers are fascinating. Together, Gager, they're -9 in 22 minutes of PK time. Ekholm alone is -1 in 12 minutes. Nurse alone is -4 in 7 minutes. What do you think of that?
They're not great numbers.
Yeah, because again, I'm not. There has to be context to all the goals we're talking about. He might not be at fault for half of them or 80, but it's a problem when you're always on the ice and there's goals against.
Yeah, no, you can't be the guy fishing the puck out all the time.
Yeah,
and we've discussed the play of Darnell Nurse, which we've thought has taken a step this year. But I really think if the Oilers want to do what, get back to where they were and be a good team in the playoffs, he's going to have to be one of those guys that him and a handful of other guys like on that backside is, and I'm going to like Bouchard, Ekholm, Nurse, Kulak. I'm going to put them all in there. It's got to be very difficult to score when those guys are on the ice. That's where they got to get to. Because when you watch teams like Winnipeg, when you watch the Rangers, when you watch the Hurricanes, like, I mean, those decors are quite good. Even the Golden Knights, like they make it. There's too many easy goals. I think there's not enough goals where the other team has made really great plays.
Yeah, you're not wowed.
Like, yeah.
Holy. It's usually, what are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'll repeat those numbers in the next segment as well. But I think it's a conversation. And I know people are going to be like, well, he's sixth highest in offensive. The offensive game of Darnell Nurse, I don't care. I'm being serious. I care about him defensively because they need him more defensively than they do offensively. And those numbers, they just scream that he's a big part of the problem here. And what do? Maybe it's his partner. Maybe he's just not good on the PK, Gage, or maybe you have to look elsewhere. We'll discuss all that coming up here on EST Afternoons, live from the William Huff Studios here in the west end of the city. It's Joaquin Gage, Hernan Salas, Heat and Smoke coming up next. But first, here's Zachticum with a sports update.
It's Oilers Islanders tonight with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas live for the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show at 6 o'clock here and only here on Edmonton Sports Talk. There's 6 other games around the league, including the Rangers matching up with the Jets, having Logan Stanley out with an injury. The Jets also claimed Capo Kakinen off waivers, re-signing him to the AHL, while the Ducks place James Reimer on the wire today. Also, elsewhere, the Flames face the Canucks and the Senators play the Maple Leafs. And Dak Prescott undergoes season-ending surgery tomorrow to repair his torn hamstring. Prescott injured his leg last week against the Falcons and will take 3 months to recover. In the NBA, the Raptors tip off with the Bucks, having 8 games in the association. After a quick timeout, we come back with Heat and Smoke here on EST Afternoons. I'm Zachary Kubusch for your sports update.
Ready for an unforgettable sports experience? It's the EST Flyaway to LA. Presented by the 780. Listen daily for the EST Flyaway keyword. Once you hear it, text us at 780-218-9999 for your chance to qualify to fly to LA. Round trip flights for 2, hotel and car rentals, all to go see Edmonton face off against either LA or Anaheim. Plus, experience the brand new Intuit Dome as the Clippers tip off against the Warriors, and top it all off with the Rams kicking off against the Cardinals at SoFi Stadium. This is more than just a trip. This is the ultimate sports experience. The EST Flyaway to LA, presented by the 780 and Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports. Since 1952, William Huff has been the heartbeat of Edmonton's advertising world. From humble beginnings to a citywide powerhouse, we've been the go-to for signage from print to design and installation. Partnering with Edmonton's top sports franchises and major events, we've helped shape the city's global reputation. Our secret? Unmatched customer service, decades of experience, and a passion for excellence we call the William Huff Advantage. Visit us online at williamhuff.com.
You want the heavy hitters on your team, both on and off the ice. If you've been injured in a car accident, call the heavy hitters of injury law. James H. Brown and Associates, Alberta Injury Lawyers. With over 200 years of combined injury law experience, their precedent-setting lawyers are ready to help. Locally owned and proud Edmonton Oilers fans, James H. Brown and Associates wants to support you with their unrivaled experience, unrivaled results, and unrivaled commitment. When accidents happen, head to jameshbrown.com.
.129, welcome back to EST Afternoons here on Edmonton Sports Talk. Joaquin Gage, Hernan Salas, Zachticum. Text us 780-218-9999. Hit us up on the nasty chat. as we're just ahead of Stefen Rosner. He's a beat reporter for the New York Islanders for NHL.com. We'll get a good idea on what the opponent will look like tonight for the Edmonton Oilers. Heat and Smoke coming up here very shortly. We just gave you some Darnell Nurse numbers as well. But first, portions of this hour brought to you by the Canadian Brewhouse. NHL lives at the Canadian Brewhouse. Every Oilers game day, get $1 off tankards of Molson Canadian and Coors Light. And you can win game tickets and 2 tickets to a surf and turf dinner at the end of the season. Full details at the CanadianBrewhouse.com. So, Gage, when I read you those Darnell Nurse numbers, and I'll probably take some heat because people are going to be like, well, how much is that on his partner? Like, is that up there in the excuse realm for you?
No.
Okay.
No, he. How many games has Darnell Nurse into his career?
We'll look it up real quick.
Regardless of what it is, here's a guy that should be able to play with basically anyone at this point.
655.
Yeah, that's a fair sample size of and they say, it takes time to become an NHL defenseman. But trying to find a part, and I know sometimes it doesn't work. Like, it's not going to work every single time. I get that, but look, it just seems like the fit is. They had the fit for so long. You could see with Cece and Nurse how well it worked.
Yeah.
Like they worked well together, and it takes time to build that type of relationship up on the ice. But I'm not saying he's playing horrible. Like, I think Darnell Nurse is playing well, but there's still it's not a full 60 minutes from Darnell Nurse,
You get good and bad within the game.
Yeah. You want to see, and the part of me that has trouble watching Darnell Nurse at times is he's a big, strong, capable guy of being a little bit meaner, I think, or not. And I'm not saying fighting or anything like that. I just mean that agitator, a little bit more sandpaper, going into the corner with Darnell Nurse. You've been in the corner with Darnell Nurse afterwards. There should be a little bit more physicality. I'd like to see, by halfway through the game, guys are taking cheap shots at Darnell Nurse because of his physical play, getting under the skin of the team by initiating with physicality, being mean, making good play, like all these types of things. And you see it at times, and it's like encouraging, but then you don't see it on a regular basis.
And that's what I mean. Like, you can't ignore that he's been on for 50% of the goals he gains in total, and then 81% on the PK. Like, again, I'm not putting them all the goals on him. That's not what we're saying. But when you're on the ice for that many goals against Gager, it's too much.
It is too much.
It's too much for a guy that's supposed to be your number one guy, who we know is not, but at least your 2 or your 3, that's still not good enough. Like, Kulak doesn't even have, no, playing different matchups, sure, maybe, and Kulak's playing a lot more with him. He's getting bumped in within the game, and it seems like it's settled him down too.
Kulak's playing unbelievable, man.
Yeah.
He's unreal right now. He's, they have a bona fide top four defenseman, although, I would say that Ekholm and Bouchard aren't to where they can be yet.
Yeah.
But, no, I think that having Kulak with Nurse is a good match. It's much better.
But I guess this is a question I'm going to pose to our listeners and everybody watching. You see the PK struggling. You see the PK numbers with Darnell Nurse. For me, there's just no one else to play there, because Bouchard doesn't kill penalties unless there's 2 guys in the box and he has to. So you have Ekholm, Kulak, and then either Stetcher or Emberson. Do you almost dial it back with Darnell Nurse on the PK? Because the coach can't keep ignoring this.
Well, I think you're trying to get back to where you were last year. And if memory serves, he played with Darnell a lot, right?
Yes.
Was on the PK.
Yeah.
And what was great about Darnell is his size, his and physicality. Like he wasn't afraid to check out the durability of his Sherwood. But maybe because when I see when Darnell gets in trouble, he doesn't have that calmness of, okay, something's here, recognize the situation, let's get back to a solid positioning where I can cover up, right? It's almost like, oh, I messed up, and then he's running to do something too much.
Yeah.
Just trying to do too much at times instead of just recovering from the play itself. I know maybe that doesn't sound it's hard to convey what I'm talking about here, but when he gets in that I'll just use an example. When he goes to block a shot, sometimes if he gets out of position, he's almost causing more harm than good because he's not close to the shooter. He's in between the goal, usually Stuart Skinner, and the guy shooting the puck. He doesn't stop the puck. He's already down on one knee. If Stuart Skinner does stop it and there's a rebound, he's taken himself out of the play.
Yeah. It's okay to say that maybe PK is not one of his strong suits because it's Gager. Look at these numbers.
But it was good last year, man. He was great, but okay,
and this is courtesy of Jonathan Willis again, okay, Gager?
Yeah.
And this is going to show a lot because people say he was great, and maybe he was. But of 136 defensemen to play at least 250 minutes of 4 versus 5 between 2021 and 2024, here's how the Oilers rank by goals against per 60. Ekholm is 40th in the league. CC was 50th. Kulak 106. Nurse 115th.
Well, that's not...
Stetcher 128th.
Okay. But, yeah, you can hear those numbers, but you also remember that this year, PK sucks.
Yes.
Right? And it got way better last year. And it sucked at the beginning of last year, too.
Yeah.
Right? It was really, really struggled. So those numbers are a little bit skewed. It's always tough to get them back to a respectable place. Just going by the eye test, the way it ended last year, that thing was a dominant source of power for the Edmonton Oilers.
Yeah, and again, we're not putting all the PK on Darnell.
No,
we're not. And Stuart Skinner was visibly upset with him last game for a very boneheaded play. But it's got to be everybody on the PK that's going to turn it around. But Gager, we're going to get to Heat and Smoke at 2:00 because we kept going with the nurse, and I see Stefen Rosner is waiting in the bullpen. So we'll get to the Islanders preview next here on EST Afternoons. Heat and Smoke at 2:00. Manny Arceneaux at 2:20, and of course the EST Flyaway to LA, which is proudly presented by the 7-8. We're going to do a little bit earlier than usual, so keep it locked here on Edmonton Sports Talk. We'll talk Isles next here on EST Afternoons, but first up, here is Zachticum with a sports update.
The Oilers are back in action when they host the New York Islanders, and you can tune in to the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas just an hour before puck drop, only on Edmonton Sports Talk. 6 other games are on tap with the Devils battling the Panthers, the Bruins facing the Blues, and the Blue Jackets having puck drop against the Kraken. And Kaapo Kähkönen has been claimed off waivers by the Winnipeg Jets as they assign him to the AHL. Kähkönen was claimed by the Avs earlier this season from the Jets before playing 1 game and being reclaimed by Winnipeg. James Reimer also hits the wire from the Anaheim Ducks. And basketball sees the Raptors going toe-to-toe with the Bucks, while the Knicks tip off with the 76ers before the Mavs and Warriors duke it out for 8 total games around the association. And just after the break, Stefen Rosner, Islanders beat reporter for NHL.com, joins Hernan Salas and Joaquin Gage. I'm Zachary Kubusch, keeping you up to date.
Wake up with the Nielsen Show with Dustin Nielsen and Lieutenant Eric. Weekday mornings 6 to 9 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
Book your holiday party at the CBH today. The Canadian Brewhouse is your ultimate destination for events, parties, fundraisers, and more. 'Tis the season to celebrate. Visit and book now in-store or at the Canadian...
Your brand deserves more than just a whisper, it deserves a buzz. At the Hive Product Marketing, they specialize in promotional products that bring the buzz. From eye-catching giveaways to unforgettable keepsakes, they got the perfect products to make your brand stand out and get noticed. Visit the Hive Product Marketing and let them create the buzz your business deserves. The Hive Product Marketing, the official merch partner of Edmonton Sports Talk. Visit them online at thehiveproductmarketing.com.
Hi there. If you're like me, you like to picture yourself in luxury, even though there's absolutely no way you could afford it. And if you can, well, even better. Thankfully, I picture myself in something that is luxury, but still absolutely affordable, like the all-new Mazda CX-90 from Park Mazda. With the new luxury features like facial recognition settings and quilted detail Napa leather seating, I can pretend to be comfortable with all of my proper settings activated without even touching a button, thanks to Mitch Lewicki and the great staff at Park Mazda. I like to picture Mitch Lewicki with like a giant eagle's wings and singing lead vocals for Leonard Skinner with like an angel band. And I'm in the crowd hammered drunk. Park Mazda, your dealer for life insurance.
It is 1:40 here on Tuesday afternoon. Another beautiful fall day here in Edmonton, Alberta. We're coming to you live from the William Huff Studios. Joaquin Gage, Hernan Salas, Zachticum here as the Oilers take on the New York Islanders tonight. 7 o'clock down at Rogers Place, the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show with Tom Gazzola and myself. We'll get you set starting at 6 o'clock immediately following the Reed Wilkins show with Jim Milne. They got another awesome lineup for you, so keep it locked there as well. Of course, the EST Flyway to LA, which is presented by the 780, is coming up very, very shortly. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. So make sure to keep it locked here on Edmonton Sports Talk. But we're going to get to the visitor report here. As like I mentioned, the New York Islanders are in town to take on your Edmonton Oilers. Stefen Rosner, Islanders beat reporter for NHL.com, joins us to preview the Isles. Stefen, how you doing?
Thanks so much for having me, guys. Really do appreciate it.
Yeah, of course, of course. So just give us, it's a team out east that we don't get to see much. They sit right now with a record of 6-6-3. What have you made of the Islanders season so far, Stefen?
Yeah, it's been tough. Injuries have been a problem. They're without their entire left side of their defense right now and 2/3 of their top line, but they found a way to power through and stay in the mix under head coach Patrick Roy. First full season for him. They haven't been able to really shake off the blown lead issue we saw last year, but they're finding ways to win games and get points with pretty important people out of their lineup.
Stefen, looking at their specialty teams, the power play is 13.3. The PK is 65.6. That's good for 28th and 30th in the league. We're no strangers to actual teams that can't score at the moment. Is this just going to be a team that's going to have to try to score by committee with the long-term injury to Matthew Barzal?
Yeah, 1,000%. And you're seeing that lately, too. You're seeing the depth guys score early on in the year. They were actually playing worse with all these guys in the lineup. They were struggling to score goals. They were getting shut out. They were shut out 4 times for their first 10 games. And that's hurt the special teams, obviously, all these guys being hurt. But special teams has always been an issue for this Islanders team. They thought maybe it would change PK-wise with Tommy Alberline coming in with his system. That hasn't worked, and the power play struggled to produce. So, yeah, this is a team that's relying heavily on depth and scoring up and down their lineup at 5-on-5 and doing their best to stop taking penalties because the PK struggled so much. And on the power play, they've tried to simplify things. Unfortunately, they're just not getting results there.
Stefen, I'm looking at Noah Dobson, a hell of a defenseman. Had a great year last year, his best in the NHL. He had 70 points in 79 games. I think he cracked the TSN and Sportsnet top 50 players in the NHL. This year, a bit of a slow start, a -5, only 6 assists in 15 games. What's going on with Noah Dobson?
I think he's playing a lot of minutes because players are hurt. He's playing in situations that the Islanders probably don't want to put him in, like he's playing on the penalty kill. And I think his confidence has certainly taken a hit. Now, the point production last year was fantastic. Mm-hmm. Obviously, that relies on people finishing their chances. Having Matthew Barzal, he was earning secondary assists on plays on the power play that he passed the puck to Barzal, who would find Horvat, let's say. And this year so far, he's just struggled to get the point production, struggled to take advantage of the shooting lanes. And like I said, the confidence. The other day in overtime, he had a chance to shoot the puck inside the left dot in overtime, and he looked to pass instead. So I think right now he's battling a confidence issue. I think there is fatigue setting in, which is how much he is playing. Not that he's not used to playing big minutes. When he was in juniors, he was playing 30 or so minutes, and he played a lot last year. But I just think right now he has a lot on his plate, and it's hitting his confidence for sure.
You mentioned this is Patrick Waugh gets his hooks in from the beginning of the season here, knowing the team a little bit more. What's his coaching style? What does he see for this Islanders team? Is this more of a defensive, structured team, or are they a little bit more north and south?
He's huge on possession numbers. He wants the puck on their stick. You saw the possession early in the season that the chances weren't there. And he said early on that he doesn't want to be a team that's really good at defense. He wants to be a team that fans can be proud of the way they play on the defensive side of the puck. But he's a guy that wants them to be aggressive offensively, wants them to possess in the offensive zone, crash the net for rebounds. And when they have the lead, try to bury the other team. The Islanders, over years past since Barry Trotz left, even when Barry Trotz was there, it was, all right, how do we win the 1-0 game 1-0? That's what they would do. They'd sit back and lock it down. Under Lane Lambert, that just didn't happen at all. He tried to be more offensive, didn't work. And under Waugh, he's saying, guys, let's not sit back. Let's try to score that extra goal and things like that. And right now, the Islanders are battling a mindset issue. For a long time, it was sit back, play the defense, and don't go for the kill. Just win the game. And right now, Waugh's trying to break that. It's hard when you have a lot of veterans who have played like that for such a long period of time. But yeah, he wants to be a team that scores a lot of goals, is respectful defensively, and gets good goaltending. Right now, Sorokin, off his back surgery, has been unreal, like the guy we saw a couple years ago when he was a Vezina finalist. Varlamov had a really slow start to his year, but now Varlamov's picked it up. So the Islanders have goaltending in place. Their defense has been much better, just about burying the chances when they possess the puck.
Stefen Rosner joining us here, beat reporter for the New York Islanders for NHL.com. When you're looking at this forward group, I see Palmieri up there in the points, Bo Horvat. Is it those guys kind of leading the charge here with a little bit of help? Because one player that always fascinates me with the Isles is Oliver Wahlstrom. Came in, he had a pretty good first and second season, but he's kind of tailed off here lately. What's going on there, and how are the veterans looking for this team?
Yeah, early in the year, the veterans were struggling. Horvat would tell you he probably had 3 or 4 goals for the first 3 or 4 games, and he was just struggling at 5-on-5. But he's led the pack on and off the ice. He's wearing an A for the first time this year. Was obviously a captain in Vancouver. Kyle Palmieri has been the Islanders' best player since Patrick Waugh took over. And then another player we got to mention is Anders Lee. Yeah. This is a guy that was, people were talking about as a buyout candidate. He's off to a really strong start. He's flanking Horvat with Pajot on the top line right now. He's looked insane. He's looked really, really good. And Pajot is another guy who's kind of turned back the clock, providing more offense like we saw when he was with Ottawa. But for Oliver Wahlstrom, it didn't work in a top 6 role. He had his chances through 3 coaches. They said, you know what? You're going to start on the 4th line this year. He wasn't bringing the physicality, wasn't bringing the scoring. He did score in Ottawa the other day for his first goal of the year. But he's a player that's trying to figure out how to stay in an NHL lineup. Maybe he's not going to be the goal scorer they thought he was going to be, but he's also not being the physical guy they think he could be. So he's a big question mark right now. But the good news for him is that Waugh is giving him every chance to prove something. And right now he's played a lot better on the line than he is right now. More structure. He's playing just a simple north-south game with Kyle McLean and Matt Martin. And he looks better. But I think it's important for him to find ways to score because that's his shot. If he has a lane, he's got to take it.
Right now, the Islanders sitting 9th in the conference. It's obviously going to be a telling few weeks or however long these players stay injured. Looking at a crystal ball, what do you see if the Islanders are a team that's maybe on the outside looking in? Do they become more sellers after further down the road and try to retool from there, or do you see this team possibly trying to make a push for the playoffs?
Yeah, the logical thing would be if you're out on the outside looking in, you have a guy like Brock Nelson, who's a pending UFA, a guy like Kyle Palmieri, who's a pending UFA, that can bring you back assets. But we've seen with Lou Lamoriello that if they're close, he's buying. And I think with how weak the Metro is, how wide open it is, one should say, and just the wild card race right now, the Islanders have blown leads, they've had all these injuries, and they're a win away from being in a wild card spot. So I think if this keeps up and they're able to stay close enough, Lou's going to buy, but also when Lou buys, it's usually short-term and long-term. It's not a rental. He never – I don't remember the last time, even with the Islanders, I don't think he ever got someone in and then let them go in the offseason. He's always retained them, which is the positive. But, yeah, this Islanders team's in a tough spot. You have veterans that are aging out. You have young players signed to long-term deals. You should retool and give yourself the best chance to win long-term, but I do think if they're close, he's going to keep his guys and try to bring in some more.
Stefen, I'm going to ask you about a player who's playing the left wing on the second line, Maxim, and I'm going to let you say his last name just so I don't absolutely butcher it. Some of our listeners are asking about him. He's looking pretty good so far. This is a guy that has experience, has played a lot in Russia. So what do you make of Maxim? And I'll let you say his last name.
Yeah, Maxim Siplikov.
There we go.
It's not as hard as you think, but
no,
yeah,
Siplikov.
He's a guy that you had expectations coming in, had a career high in goals in the KHL, but he's 26. So you're thinking, all right, is it just a one good year or not? He comes in, maybe he doesn't have the foot speed that you want a top 6 player to have, but where he makes up for it is his hockey IQ is off the charts. He's also physically mature. He's a big boy. He cuts the net. He drives the lanes. He's very physical. He leads the Islanders in hits. And he's got goals. He has 2 goals and 7 assists for 9 points. I think he's 4th in Calder scoring right now, but he's just a player that the Islanders really desperately needed at a low price tag, right? He's making the $950K, and I think for him and finding that comfortability with Brock Nelson and Kyle Palmieri, that's huge, especially with a guy like Anthony Duclair out. Was able to rely on his second line as his top line, and Siplikov maybe needs to figure out how to take less penalties, a lot of hooking and high sticking and tripping infractions. But I think that's just him getting used to the speed of the NHL game. But the IQ is definite NHL player. He has the size, and he's been a really bright spot for this Islanders team early on.
Yeah, definitely intrigued to watch him tonight. 6'3", 210 Gager, so a big boy. Stefen, thank you so much for taking the time this afternoon. Great breakdown on the Islanders, a team that we don't get to watch a lot down here in Edmonton, but looking forward to this game. 2 teams that so far are struggling to score, so we'll see what happens. But enjoy the game tonight, and I'm sure we'll have you on in the near future.
Thanks so much, guys. Have a great one.
Stefen Rosner, Islanders beat reporter for NHL.com. He also does a podcast. You can check him out on Twitter at Stefen_Rosner. Siplikov. Good numbers. I mean, in the KHL, 47 points last year in 65 games, 26 years old Gager. I'm intrigued by this guy. I've been seeing him showing up on the scoreboard a few times, and I'm intrigued for fantasy reasons, but a big boy. I can't wait to see him play tonight.
Leading the Islanders in assists at the moment. So, there's always those new players that come over, and I hate to say it, but usually have a little bit of success against the Oilers the first time, it seems like. It's that we got to stop giving people that EST Afternoons bump.
That's true. We usually do, man. That was a great breakdown. Because earlier on the season, I saw some stuff on X that maybe Patrick Roy would be on the hot seat, but I'm like, you got to understand, like you said, their whole was it left
sides
is down.
On the D is down, yeah.
And then they're missing 2 other. They're missing not Bo Horvat, Matthew Barzal. They're missing Anthony Duclair, Adam Pelech, Alexander Romanov, and Mike Riley.
They're decimated by injuries right now, but it just kind of they're treading water right now. So what we were talking about earlier is a team that. The first goal is important, I think. Right?
Oh, yeah.
It's really important for 2 teams that are struggling to score goals. But again, I'd like to see the Oilers just, if they do happen to jump out to that lead, just keep the all gas, no brake, as our boy Zach likes to say.
Because they would have the advantage in goal, because Sorokin he's up there.
No, I don't give it. I think Stuart Skinner can play just as good as Ilya Sorokin.
Oh, for sure. But I mean, bigger sample size. Sorry, I think you'd give the edge to Sorokin. I don't know if he's confirmed to play tonight, but nonetheless, they have Varlamov. But the Oilers have kind of run their show here in Edmonton. I can't remember the last time the Islanders won a game here.
No, but this is, I think this is the first. Is this the first? Yeah, this is the first game of the road trip. So. They're not on the tail end.
Yeah.
So this is you're going to get probably a really good Islanders team because they played Saturday, New Jersey, a few days off, probably came in there Monday. Yeah, so they'll be ready to play.
Yeah, it should be a fun one. It always is when these 2 teams meet. Low scoring, though.
Yes.
Because you know what's funny? Because when they go to the island to play, like, they rarely win. I think the last time they won was when, remember, James Neal scored 4 goals?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That was...
Brock Nelson he plays really well there against the Oilers.
Yeah. They got some interesting players for sure. But how about this, Gage? We're going to do the keyword a little bit early.
All right, let's do that.
We're just ahead of Manny Arceneaux at 220. we'll read a bunch of texts and nasty chat messages we got on Darnell Nurse about the numbers we gave out earlier today, that he's on the ice a lot for goals against. And again, we're not blaming it all on him. We're just saying that if you're on for that much, there's obviously something to it. That's all we're saying. Don't go crazy. We'll also talk Grey Cup matchup. I know you got a nice take on the Toronto Argos. I don't see how they win, but we'll get into that. Some NFL stuff. And Jasmine's asking if we're going to watch the NBA in-season tournament that starts today. Do you have any interest in that? I mean, it's just a game, but it counts for...
I apologize. I am not fully invested into the NBA. Just nothing really... I have to start watching. Maybe just a team, but I don't know. Do you have a team in the NBA?
Vince Carter, I was a Knicks fan growing up because I loved the early 90s Knicks. John Starks was my favorite player. But then when Vince Carter came to Toronto, he kind of turned me into a Toronto fan. So, but Toronto stinks. Well, they're dealing with a ton of injuries too. Like their whole starting lineup's pretty much out. But, I know last year the Lakers won the in-season tournament, and me and Maddie disagree on this. I think it's stupid.
Oh, I don't mind it.
You really? Because as a player, it's like, hey, what did you win? I won the NC. Like, who cares? Like, it's what matters is the championship, Gager.
It's a lot of games, man, and I don't mind it for something else to play for. I think it's interesting. It did get a lot of eyeballs on it. And you know what? You get to the point where you're playing for a championship, you're going to get guys best too.
Okay, but I'll ask you this, Gager. Let's look at a team like, for example, Denver Nuggets, or a team that's won. What's their interest level in season tournament to win this? Because they're like, no, we won the championship, we want to win it again. Like this is to us.
Win both, man. Win both.
I guess. I don't know. How do people feel about that? Would you like to see that in hockey?
I would actually. Because I've done it. We did it in Europe. There was different things throughout the year, and at first I was like, "What is this?" Because obviously you're not used to it. But you talk to football fans in Europe. There's tons of different cups all the time.
Yeah,
and fans love it. I don't know if it would work here. Mm-hmm. It would be interesting to actually see, but. That might be a poll, Zach, to ask. Yeah. Would Oilers fans be excited for an in-season championship and the Oilers are playing in the finals for it? Would that get you pumped up?
That's a great question, Gager.
Yeah,
I wouldn't.
Really?
Yes, I'd be like, hey, they won. Who cares?
Yeah, but if
you're not popping champagne and going on the streets and celebrating if they win the NBA. No, I wouldn't.
Okay, it'd be red wine, but still. I think it would be kind of cool. I guarantee you would have the ice district would be packed if the Oilers were in some sort of championship in the regular season.
That's a great question. Zach will put it up here on our YouTube channel. I just honestly, and you guys know I'm a fan, right? Like it's gone down. Like I'm not as crazy fan as I used to because I work in the business.
You are crazy.
I really don't think I'd care if the Oilers won an in-season championship.
You'd have the hat, the shirt.
I mean, I would applaud and be like, cool, that's pretty cool. But I don't think you're getting the same celebration from the players, from the fans in the city. I don't think you are. I think people are just going to applaud it and be like, that's cool.
I think you are. I think people would get jacked for a championship.
Oh man, I'm intrigued to see this poll because I don't know, man. I mean, sure, you always want to see your team win, right? But it's something that has no like for me. Where's the value in it? Like, are people going to be talking to? Hey, the Oilers won the 2026 in-season tournament. People are going to be like, who cares? Did they win the Stanley Cup? No.
Oh, we got 6 votes, 7 votes. I'm
gonna vote.
We're cooking. Boo.
All right, we're going to do the EST Flyaway to LA right now. Get ready. I have the keyword for you. Text 780-218-9999. The keyword for today coming shortly. The 780, of course, is the presenting the EST Flyaway to LA. The 780 is a homegrown local shop right here in Edmonton. 780 is both the shop name and their in-house clothing brand that celebrates all things unique to E-Town. They also work with close to 100 local vendors from the 780 area code to help promote and get their brands off the ground. Check them out online at 780.com or any of their 5 locations: Southgate, Londonderry, Kingsway, St. Albert, and the Outlet Mall by the airport. Today's keyword, do you want to guess, Gage?
Physical.
Damn.
Let's get.
No, the keyword for the EST Flyaway to LA is sideline. 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 Text that now to 780-218-9999, and Zach will have a qualifier, and we'll talk to them on the other side of the break. This is EST Afternoons. Joaquin Gage, Hernan Salas.
Celebrating 70 years in the signage industry, William Huff Advertising is the most recognized name in the game. An in-house, one-stop shop for all of your design, print, and installation needs. William Huff provides quality graphic solutions for everyone. Here in our City of Champions and throughout the nation, they are the preferred signage partner entrusted by many of the biggest corporations, pro sports teams, and organizations to bring their identity to life. Recognize the name, get in the game. WilliamHuff.com.
Looking for a winning strategy for your retirement? Contact me, Joaquin Gage at K4 Financial, where expertise meets dedication. I will always look for a careful approach to your retirement, ensuring your financial future is secure. From tailored strategies to clear, actionable advice, I'm here to guide you every step of the way. Don't leave your future to chance. Get in touch with me, Joaquin Gage, today at k4financial.ca or email joaquin.gage@k4financial.ca to start planning for a brighter future and a more secure retirement.
This is your chance to win big with the Split the Pot Lottery. Support the Capital Care Foundation to help Alberta seniors get the care they deserve and support more healthcare foundations across the province. With a grand prize that grows with every ticket sold, the jackpot is hundreds of thousands and just keeps getting bigger. Visit splitthepot.ca and buy your tickets now. Don't forget to pick Capital Care Foundation as your foundation of choice. Lottery license number 698984.
Former Oilers GM Ken Holland has been hired by the NHL as a hockey operations consultant. Holland won 4 Stanley Cups during his career with the Red Wings, spending 22 years there as an executive before serving as the Oilers GM for the past 5 years, being let go in this off season. It's the Oilers and Islanders tonight with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas live for the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show at 6 o'clock right here on EST. And there's 6 other games around the league, including the Rangers matching up with the Jets, with Winnipeg's Logan Stanley out with an injury. The Jets also claimed Kaapo Kähkönen off waivers, re-signing him to the AHL, while the Ducks placed James Reimer to the wire as well. And elsewhere, the Flames face the Canucks and the Senators play the Maple Leafs. In the NBA, the Raptors tip off with the Bucks having 8 games in the association. EST Afternoons continues right now. I'm Zachary Kubusch, keeping you in the loop.
It's 2:02, hour 2, EST Afternoons. Joaquin Gage, Hernan Salas, Zachticum. We're just ahead of our qualifier. And Manny Arceneaux, former Elk and I'd say legendary CFL receiver, will join us, talk all things football, what he's up to in retirement. And he trains a certain, in the offseason, player for the Oil Kings. So we'll get into that. That's kind of cool. It's kind of cool that a football guy is training a hockey guy. I just want to get into the details of that, right? So it would be pretty cool. Gager Rip City Step says, I care.
Yeah, man. I look. We just talked to Jay Milne in the bullpen there, and he watched the Netflix series Starting Five, and just commented how how much the LeBron was taking, how seriously he was taking that tournament. And maybe that was partly because his age. He knows he's not, I don't know how many more years he's going to play, probably 10 or whatever, but it was a chance to do something that no one's ever done. And when competition ramps up, it's going to mean something. I mean, so what you're telling me, you don't think this is important, but what about this Four Nations thing? It's not the Olympics. Who cares? Do you care about it at all?
Not really. Like, I want to watch it.
You are dead inside.
I want to see McDavid play with the best Canadian players, but it's not like I'm going to, go celebrate or anything. Like, I'm more upset that we're not going to have NHL hockey for a few weeks.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh?
I'm kind of an NHL snob.
I guess. Well, you like what you like, I guess. And that's great, man. I like variety. I mean, I think it would be a good idea. There's just so many games, man. It just doesn't make sense. I would love some sort of a extra tournament during that time. End of January, February. I mean, the standings are a lot closer, but sometimes there's teams that they're going to make the playoffs. Certain teams aren't going to make the playoffs.
Do they get a ring for an in-season tournament in the NBA?
I don't know. Well, I know that they got $500,000 each. So,
jeez. Okay, well, in that case, Norman Combine, you would be lined up right after the final buzzer, Hernan. Hernan doesn't care to. It's not that I don't care. Obviously, I'd still watch because it's part of the job, and I like hockey. But I like. Let's just say if players got rings in the NHL for an in-season win, half of those will be on eBay by
what are you
2 years.
talking about?
Because hey, what did you win? Oh, I won the in-season tournament. Like, no, like the Stanley Cup is what matters. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm being too. So Zach put up, would you be excited if the NHL made an in-season championship, in-season tournament? Right now, no, 55%. Yes, 30%. Couldn't care less, 15%. I should have went with couldn't care less, but.
Yeah, should have. No, I think it would be good. I think it would be really good for those February games where everyone's just, can we get to playoffs, please?
Yeah.
Have something to play for. Because I guarantee this Four Nations is going to be quite successful because we're not going to, not have to deal with an All-Star game. And I say that because the All-Star game's never been in Edmonton. I think once it's in Edmonton, I'll probably like it just because of all the shenanigans that are probably going to go on during that time. But
we'd be right there, man. First one's lined up. Hernan and Gage.
Yeah, can't wait with those some ridiculous jersey on.
Do we have our qualifier?
Yes, we do. Richard, how you doing today?
I'm great, thanks. How are you guys doing?
We're doing excellent. Would you be a fan of an NHL in-season tournament?
I don't think I would be, to be honest.
Well, goodbye, Richard.
Yes, Richard. Yes.
It's all about the cup at the end of the year.
Yes, thank you. That's all that matters.
Yeah, but you know what's better than one cup, Richard? Two cups.
I know. Yeah.
Congratulations, Richard, on qualifying. If you win, you would get a flight for two to LA with a hotel and rental car. You'd leave on Boxing Day, return on the 30th. You'd watch Clippers, Warriors, Rams, Cardinals, and the Edmonton Hockey Club in either LA or Anaheim. Who would you take with you if you win this trip?
I would take my wife with me for sure.
Nice. Have you ever been to LA?
Once, but years ago.
Oh, okay. And we know everybody wants to see the Edmonton hockey team. NBA, NFL, which one would excite you more?
I think the NBA out of those two.
Yeah, especially that arena.
Maybe there'll be an in-season tournament you can watch. Who knows?
You go to an in-season game. Yeah, exactly. Richard, the grand prize will be given away on November 29th during the morning show with Dustin Nielsen and Lieutenant Eric. You can qualify up until the 28th. All the best, and hopefully on the 29th, your name is called.
Thanks. Appreciate it, guys.
All right. There's Richard, our next qualifier for the EST Flyway to LA, which is presented by the 780. Check them out online at 780.com or at any of their 5 locations: Southgate, Londonderry, Kingsway, St. Albert, and the Outlet Mall by the airport. Gager, I agree with Hernan. It's like watching and caring about the Emmys, C-Run says. Rip City says, cold water, Hernan, today. Yeah, I'm not bringing the heat. I'm bringing terrible takes. Reed Wilkins says, I sooner watch Gager play Newman Haas Racing on the Sega Genesis than have an NHL and season turtle. So Reed's on my side, too. Boom!
Yeah. Well, you know what? Just like being a goalie, I'm all alone back here getting shelled.
We're only at 40 thumbs up. That's an all-time low. So let's go. Let's go. Let's get it up to at least 60 by the time Manny Arceneaux joins us. Or let's get it to 84, the number he wore for so many years in the CFL. The big guy's going to join us at 220. But let's get to, how about we get to some heat and smoke, Gager?
I like it.
All right. First question. And this is for Zachticum, too, if he wants to chime in. I know he's really busy back there, so we won't bug him too much. But I'm picking 2 coaches, okay, Gager?
Okay.
I just got to find them. I got to find my notes, and I can't find them right now. Wow. Jordan Tortorella, Marty St. Louis. I feel like they're on the hot seat. If you had to pick one, who makes a move first?
Montreal.
You think so?
Yeah.
But, okay. Zach, you have an answer?
I want to say Tortorella. How do you scratch Michkov? He scratched Michkov, came back, and the guy had 3 points, I think. 2 points.
And the shootout
You're
winner.
answering your own question.
He got him going, right?
Exactly.
Come on.
Or I should have put or other. Is there another coach you think is on the hot seat?
Oh, shoot. I should have thought about this. Nabla? No, I'm just kidding.
Nashville?
Oof. No, I don't think Nashville because Trotz did this, you know.
Okay.
He brought in all this stuff. I think
that's a good point.
Burnett's kind of look, it's just not working. Like these guys, you got to look at that and you saw what the potential for offense and it's not working. So that's not on the coach, that's on the players. And they're so old that it's not like they need added motivation.
I made a mistake. It wasn't Tortorella. I was supposed to say the Penguins coach.
So the thing is, this is why I think with Marty, he's a little bit old school. He seems a little not to that extent, but Tortorella light a little bit.
Yeah,
you know, like he bag skated them the other day and trying to look for more, and they lost. It was the day before. There's not a lot of NHL experience with Marty. I think it's an easier fire than you look at Tortorella. I think the Philadelphia Flyers are really close. Like they have some really good players. The game here was really quite good. They're close. They're really close, and I think that Tortorella has them playing a style of hockey that will make them successful. I don't know why they had that rebuilding series on the Montreal Canadiens because that's they're still in their infancy.
Little premature.
Yeah.
But that's why I mean, like, is St. Louis safe because of where they are in their rebuild? And then when I look at Sullivan and Pittsburgh, they're supposed to be better, but that roster is just not good. Like, let's be honest.
No, yeah.
And I think Philadelphia was close last year. I think they were ahead of their time, so they might take a little bit of dip, but there's something there with Philadelphia.
There's definitely. If you're going to tell me which team that I think is further ahead than the other, it's the Flyers for sure. They're in games. They're just not winning all. You know, they're losing them here and there. Just they don't have that bona fide superstar yet.
So Zach said Tortorella. You're saying St. Louis. I'm going to say Sullivan. Let us know on the Nasty Chat or at 780-218-9999 which is the first coaching casualty Gage. Because another good one is Lalonde in Detroit. They're like second last.
There was talk about him kind of. Someone's going
Not
to
second.
be gone in the next couple weeks here, right? Like there's going to be there always is, right? So
like Nashville, Montreal are last place, tied for last with Anaheim and Columbus.
Jeez, it's just awful. That's just awful. Well, then the Oilers got them Thursday too, right? So, Yeah, man, it's those are some good ones, but I just think because Philadelphia's they're 6th in the Metro, right?
Yeah.
14 points, point behind the Islanders, 5 behind the Rangers. Like they're close. You look at Montreal, they're in 8th in the Atlantic. They're not moving up in that division, right? Like the way they're playing now, they're not good enough. And goal differential -21. What's it with Philly? -14. Yeah, so I think St. Louis is the first one gone.
All right, second question. Oilers captain Connor McDavid is 5 points away from 1,000. He's at 657 games. In what game does Connor hit 1,000 points?
I'm just checking the cool bet to Connor 5 points tonight. What is it?
You can go ahead, Zach.
So he's at 657 games, or is he playing in his 657 tonight?
So they play tonight, then they play on Thursday against
Nashville.
Nashville.
Is it not?
Thursday, Nashville.
Thursday.
Yeah, and then Toronto
Saturday.
So let me know which game you think he hits 1,000 points.
I want to say Canadians.
Oh, so that's on the Monday?
That's on the Monday. So that's giving him
4 games.
Yeah, 4 games for 5 points.
Okay.
He's
been slow. Yeah.
He hasn't had like many 3-point games. Now I'm going to say that, and he's going to get 5.6.
That's fair. So he picks Monday, Montreal. So like just under a week. Gager, where are you going with?
I'm trying to put Connor at what's it for 5 points because I'm betting it tonight. But you know what? The thing that's funny, it's not unheard of to say he might do it tonight.
No, it's not.
I think he does it tonight.
But how special would it be if he did it in Toronto?
Well, Reed and I were talking about that, and Reed, he doesn't like in-season tournaments, but he likes celebrations here in Edmonton. So he said it would be special to do it in front of Oilers fans. Cass said it would be cool if, maybe it's, tonight he has 4 points. They go to overtime and he scores the winner.
Oh, yeah.
Like the roof comes off at that point. Sounds like a playoff game. So I'm going to go Connor McDavid 5 points tonight.
Okay. I'm going to pick Toronto because just to do it in that city in front of those fans and stick it in their face.
Oh, yeah. Well, he's going there next year, so.
Yeah. So Zach said Montreal. So let's remember this, guys. Okay. I said Toronto on Saturday, and you're saying tonight.
Tonight.
All right.
Now I don't know if that makes me pessimistic because it is Connor McDavid. Like you said, like he might get 5 points now that I said, well, he's not going to get it for another 6 days here. He's played 4 games, but.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it past him.
Yeah. No.
All right, guys. Today's National French Dip Day. What is your favorite dip? It can be for a sandwich, for chips. What is the best?
Oh. The best dip is a smoked a smoked barbecue aioli is what I like.
Oh.
So many good ones. Spinach artichoke dip is up there.
Oh,
6-layer bean dip. I don't know. I like the chips and dip. So probably one of those. Probably the spinach though. I usually get that as an appy or anything. Like I go to a restaurant. That's the first thing I usually look at on the menu. So I'm going to go with the spinach artichoke dip. So good.
Artichoke dip's really good. I'm going to go with something it's homemade, Gager. My cousin has knocked it down to a specialty. In a blender, he puts tomato, onion, cilantro, jalapenos, a little bit of olive oil, and then you blend it.
Yep.
It's a great dip for chips, man.
Yeah, no, I like that one. What I dip mostly though, like what's my favorite thing to dip? A good au jus with a beef dip's good.
Yes,
like
a really good one.
Just a real good one. That's and of course with wings, I'm a blue cheese guy.
Me too.
Always blue cheese.
I was ranch, and then one place started with blue cheese, and we haven't gone back. Blue cheese is amazing.
It is. Yeah. With wings, I used to be a ranch guy. I'm not a big ranch guy now.
Me either.
Even with my buffalo chicken dip that I make, I use blue cheese.
Really?
Yeah. I don't use ranch.
Anything hot's good too.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I spice it up. You know me.
Like the green salsa, like if you go eat some Mexican food.
Oh, yeah.
That stuff's good, man. Yeah.
I like that.
You have to be careful, though.
Yeah, no. Who was talking about the wings at Hudson's, that the hot wing channel. That's coming up again. We should go do that.
You should. Mick from Beaumont says, that's called salsa, Hernan. No, I know, but it doesn't come out like the traditional salsa. Do you know what I mean? With like kind of the red kind of paste.
Mm-hmm.
This is completely different. It's almost like a brownish orange.
Oh, yeah. It gets
So it's a little bit, and it doesn't have the big chunks. It's like seriously like just blended. Yeah. So it's a little bit different. Let us know, when is Connor McDavid going to hit 1,000 points? What is your favorite dip? And what was the other question? Who's the first coaching casualty this season, as we're well into November? But coming up next, we'll be joined by former Edmonton Elks and CFL receiver Emmanuel Arceneaux here on the show. It's going to be a fun conversation. We'll get his Grey Cup predictions as well. That's all coming up here on EST Afternoons, as we're coming to you live from the William Huff Studios here in the west end of the city. But first up, here's Zach with a sports update.
The NHL has hired former Oilers general manager Ken Holland as a hockey operations consultant. Holland won 4 cups in 27 years as an executive, sharing his time with the Red Wings and the Oilers. And the Oilers are back in action when they host the New York Islanders tonight. And you can tune into the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas just an hour before puck drop. Here and only here on Edmonton Sports Talk. And 6 other games are on tap, with the Devils battling the Panthers, the Bruins facing the Blues, and the Blue Jackets having puck drop against the Kraken. Kaapo Kähkönen has been claimed off waivers by the Winnipeg Jets as they assign him to the AHL. Kähkönen was claimed by the Avs earlier this season from the Jets before playing 1 game and being reclaimed by Winnipeg. James Reimer also hits the wire from the Anaheim Ducks. And basketball sees the Raptors going toe-to-toe with the Bucks, while the Knicks tip off with the 76ers before the Mavericks and Warriors duke it out for 8 games around the association. Just after the break, Manny Arceneaux, former CFLer, joins EST Afternoons. I'm Zachary Kubusch, keeping you up to date.
Ready for an unforgettable sports experience? It's the EST Flyaway to LA. Presented by the 780. Listen daily for the EST Flyaway keyword. Once you hear it, text us at 780-218-9999 for your chance to qualify to fly to LA. Round trip flights for 2, hotel and car rentals, all to go see Edmonton face off against either LA or Anaheim. Plus, experience the brand new Intuit Dome as the Clippers tip off against the Warriors, and top it all off with the Rams kicking off against the Cardinals at SoFi Stadium. This is more than just a trip. This is the ultimate sports experience. The EST Flyaway to LA, presented by the 780 and Edmonton Sports Talk. Your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Book your holiday party at the CBH today. The Canadian Brewhouse is your ultimate destination for events, parties, fundraisers, and more. 'Tis the season to celebrate. Visit and book now in-store or at the Canadian.
Celebrating 70 years in the signage industry, William Huff Advertising is the most recognized name in the game. An in-house, one-stop shop for all of your design, print, and installation needs. William Huff provides quality graphic solutions for everyone. Here in our City of Champions and throughout the nation, they are the preferred signage partner entrusted by many of the biggest corporations, pro sports teams, and organizations to bring their identity to life. Recognize the name, get in the game. WilliamHuff.com.
It's 2:23. Welcome back to Edmonton Sports Talk. Joaquin Gage, Hernan Salas, and portions of this hour brought to you by the Canadian Brewhouse. NHL lives at the Canadian Brewhouse. Every Oilers game day, get $1 off tankards of Molson Canadian and Coors Light. You can win game tickets and 2 tickets to a surf and turf dinner at the end of the season. Full details at the CanadianBrewhouse.com. As we're ready for our next guest, former Edmonton Elk and CFL receiver, played most of his career with the BC Lions, had some great numbers there. Also had a brief stint in the Arena Football League and the NFL. as I kind of see him walk. Wait till he's settled in here. So I got to work with Manny my first 2 years. Absolute beauty. One of the best guys in the room. Funny as hell.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So
I like it.
All right. We bring in Manny Arceneaux right now. Manny, how you doing, my man?
Man, what's going on?
What's going on?
Y'all can hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. Good. Now I'm settled in. Yeah. What's going on?
What's going on, Manny? Just talk to us. You retired earlier this year. I was still with the Edmonton Elks when you did, but what's retirement been like for you?
Man, coaching youth sports with my son. Coaching at a private school, wide receivers right now at Legacy Christian in Frisco. So I kind of been busy with that, where when I retired from the game, it gave me an opportunity to still be in it. So that's kind of what I'm doing now as I just transition to see like what it is I want to do next. But I kind of found a liking for the athletic development and sports performance training. So that's what I've been keeping busy with. So long as that keep going and I'm thriving in that area, I can keep putting it off doing something that's outside of sports.
How much do you miss the game, Manny? Because I saw you in the room and you loved practice. You're a student of the game. You love being around your teammates. How much do you miss the playing part of it?
Man, you know what's crazy is I absolutely honestly, I can watch a game and can kind of care less about football. It's when I'm at practice coaching these high school kids and they mention like, coach, you can't do this or you can't do that. And I'm like, man, you must don't know. So I only get the itch when I'm coaching athletes and they question my ability on how to do something that I'm trying to show them that I've done for a decade plus. But nah, man, I'm good with, I have peace at mind knowing that, you know what, my time is up. The game was good to me and it blessed me with 14 years. So that's a long time, but I'm at peace with not playing. But like you say, you miss the locker room, you miss that part. So long as I'm able to coach these kids, man, and get them fired up, that's like I'm still a part of the game, but not in it.
Manny, we during the season we had Nick Anderson on from the Elks this year. It was his rookie season, and one of the things he said was that he wished he would have known about the CFL earlier. Is that kind of, can you tell these kids that, probably have aspirations of the NFL, but there's also other avenues to become a professional football player? And do you talk about the CFL with these guys and discuss what it's like playing in Canada?
Man, all the time. I came in the league in 2009. People go to Instagram, Twitter, they see the CFL, they see my highlights, they see what I'm doing. So I have pro guys that played 5-6 years all the time that were just teamers or got cut, couldn't land nowhere. And they asked me about the CFL, and I was like, listen, I had the luxury of experiencing on both levels, a league of opportunity where it got me to the Minnesota Vikings in 2011 and a career. So some guys could come up, it's a league of opportunity to get you where you want to go. And some come up, stay there and make a career out of it. So I was able to experience it on both sides to where, I came up 2009 and 10. It got me that opportunity to get back down south. That didn't work out. Man, I'm finna come back up here where I'm being a football player, doing the thing that you love to do, play a game that's fun, So it got its perks, and you also getting paid to play. And other than that, guys have chased this NFL dream. Now you chase this XFL or UFL, where you just working out, paychecks aren't coming, and you just chasing this dream where, let me sacrifice not even sacrifice, but give 6 months of my time to the game of football, which can still keep that door open. And in football, film is your resume. If you don't have no recent film, you're no good to us. So I tell guys all the time, you rather sit at home or you want to go and play. And that'd be the whole part about it. Hey, man, I got to go to Canada. I'm like, look, it borders the United States. You're not headed over here to Asia somewhere. You right there in North America. Yeah.
Manny, a tough 3 years for the Elks. You were there in 2022 and 2023, only 4 wins each year. This year they bumped it up to 7, but still missed the playoffs. And a couple of weeks ago, they announced former Edmonton Elk offensive lineman as their new president, Chris Morris. And, he talked a lot about culture, and he did admit, he goes, every president that comes in has said the same thing. But for some reason, when he said that he's going to change the culture, it kind of stuck. For you as a player, and you were on some really good teams, you were on some teams that struggled mightily. What's culture to you? Like, how important is it in that room when it comes to a football team?
Man, that's the first thing I preach with my 6-year-old. So that tell you how important it is. If I can instill this in you now, it's just going to help you down the line, because culture beat X's and O's. When you can get a group of guys that play together, so they'll be like, 12 minus 1 is 6. That's one guy not doing his job, and you're really relying on the guy on the side of you. So culture is everything. That culture breaks down to where they say good teams find ways to win, bad teams find ways to lose. And most of the time, those bad teams has no sense of culture, and it starts from up top. And that's the thing about it, man. If you can have a team that can come together and play, you might not win them all, but when you do lose, it's going out the right way. And sometimes it's how you lose other than that you lost. But culture is everything. Those the pillars. Those the words you see on the wall. Those, for Edmonton, the former Grey Cups painted in the little pavilion upstairs. Like, that's the culture when you're walking in there, seeing signs, the city of champions. Yeah. That's what you want to bring back. And culture is everything, because when the culture is strong, there's no reason it ain't a connection with your Edmonton Elks and your Oilers that's right across the street and the basketball team that's down the road. All those guys should have good relationships, because the culture of the city of Edmonton is so strong that that's just what comes with it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But I think culture is everything, and what Edmonton has been built on for the year. I just tell people, I hate coming to Commonwealth back in 09 and 10. It's cold, wet, field froze. And you got to think, I was part of that stadium when it was grass at Commonwealth at the time. But that was a place where it was hard to win. So the past 2-3 years kind of overshadow what Edmonton is really about, you know, for this new generation of athletes and guys that's coming in. They look at it like, man, Edmonton is a joke. That's a place you don't want to go. So I think for Morris, he has to set the tone and make sure that the culture is going to be what it's going to be. But it starts with whoever he brings in and what kind of ground rules and foundation that they want to set.
Manny, we got the Grey Cup coming up this weekend with Winnipeg and Toronto. I'm going to ask you, who you got winning the Grey Cup? Because I gotta get my bets in.
Man, I'm a West Coast guy for life. You know, I've never played on the East. So long as somebody from the West represented, I'm going to ride with them. And apparently Winnipeg must be doing something right. You know, they say they got the oldest roster and blase. Man, you win football game with vets and you sprinkle guys around them. And you know what? My hat's off to the Winnipeg organization, because guys like me, you know, have those opportunities and you're always able to extend your career. And you got to think, my teammate with the Vikings, Nick Taylor, he's still playing. But it's like, is he the fastest? No. Is he the best? No. But you know what? He's a veteran guy that knows the game and can make those around him better. So I got to ride with Winnipeg. And right now, you don't want to bet against Zach Collaros anyway. And then what? Chad Hurt, you got Nick Arbuckle. Nothing against Nick, but, man, I'm taking Zach any day of the week over Nick Arbuckle.
Hey, Manny, you know who threw your last touchdown pass in the CFL?
Who was that?
Nick Arbuckle.
It was Nick Arbuckle?
Yeah.
Oh, man, that dig in Calgary.
Yeah.
Coming across,
Week 3 in 2022. Yeah.
Man, that's crazy. Yeah, but look, I'm still taking Zach, man. Look, I'm taking Zach. But you know what, Nick, man, at the end of the day, all he has to do is just manage the game. Don't do anything special. Take what they give, and you know what, it can be a good game. But, you know, just with Winnipeg and what they've done, you're looking at Kenny Lawler, you know they got Brady over there. The defense plays pretty sound. They're a team that make minimum mistakes, and they got a bunch of guys that want to, that don't mind. They got a bunch of role players. That's what I love about Winnipeg. Team full of role players, guys doing their job. And that's what wins championships, and it definitely gets you there.
Manny, do you watch a lot of CFL? You retired this year. I saw you a few times on the good old Twitter machine, just sending out some tweets about the Elks games and stuff. How much do you watch?
Yeah, man, I catch a lot of the highlights of it, but the actual games, due to what I have going on, coaching and youth sports, I don't get to sit and watch the games live, but I try to go back and view it. But I see the highlights and follow everything on the internet that consists of the CFL. So I'm still in the loop, still watching. Gino and guys I know, Swerve, different people around the league still playing. Yeah. So I got to watch them. But just staying connected, staying in it, man, is something good. Because even though I'm not playing, I'll make a return soon in some kind of way, like doing things like this here and just staying relevant for the most part, and still doing my youth camps up in Canada. But now I got to keep a foot in the game because that's the league that gave me my very first opportunity.
Manny, well, we get a lot of people from Winnipeg Sports Talk, and they already bought your plane ticket back. It seems like it. So you got a job up there if you're looking.
Hey, Manny,
one more. Look. Yeah.
One more for you. You trained Blake Fiddler, who's an exceptional player here with the Edmonton Oil Kings. His dad played in the NHL, Vern. Can you just talk about that? Because I find it interesting that you're a football guy, he's a hockey guy, but you train him in the offseason. Yeah. What can you tell us about the training and the young man that is Blake Fiddler?
Man, Fid the kid, man. Listen, he has made strides, and it's crazy that his mom was my yoga teacher. That was the original connection. Yes, she was my yoga teacher, and she always said, I got to get my son with you. Then we fast forwarded to now. I meet Blake, what he get with the Oil Kings, and it's like, man, it came full circle. But he's a guy that works and has a work ethic, and I think him having his own identity, the way that he approaches the game and grind is why he's going to have the success that he's having now and will get in the future, to where it doesn't matter if your dad played X amount of years. It's about what you're going to do. And then just how he's raised, man. The parents are good parents, and they don't shy away from the grind. But if you ask him, he know hard work works, and he's starting to see things, man, take shape, whether it's him playing for Team USA, Team whatever, or him achieving what it is. I know that that's a guy that has grinded in the off season, grinded through all the youth levels to get to where he's at now. And it's crazy that he's playing in a hometown where his dad from, at the Sherwood Park area. Now grandma can watch her grandbaby play, So, man, it's just awesome to see what he's doing, man, and how he's grinding and putting in the work. And like his teammate that I have in the spring, was Finney, down there with Impact Hockey Development. When I run my camp with Tim Preston, it was just talking smack. Hey, man, look, Blake gonna be ready. Finn, y'all better work now. He putting in his work, but he's not afraid to work, man. I tip my hat to him for that. And that's the whole thing, man. When you're looking at dry land, it go hand in hand with the performance training. As a wide receiver, got to be agile, footwork, single leg work, core stability, getting stronger. And what I bring to the dry land world is that football component of smack talking. Nobody going to feel sorry for you. And that's what it is. I force those guys to talk and interact. So any hockey kid that I get, that introvert, goes out the window. Like, they know what time it is. They highly competitive. And you got to be like, look, man, we in here to put this work in. I don't need this quiet, little shy body language. This is what it's going to be. And you know what? They buy in out the jump. But it's about getting results for those kids. But I know with Blake, man, he has grinded every step of the way. And it'd be exciting to see, where his hockey career take him. And then he done shot up. He ain't a little bitty kid no more either. Like, look, Blake about to be a grown man soon. So, man, he's a worker. He's a grinder, on camera, off camera, guy of high character, and he going to put the work in. And he knows nothing going to be handed to him. So I applaud him for that.
That's awesome, Manny. This has been great to catch up with you, my man. Always enjoyed our talks and the 2 years we spent together with the Edmonton Elks. And Hey, listen, I might have you on again because you're absolutely great, and we'll see if your team, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, well, not your team, but your selection, will win the. Will win the Craig
Look,
Cup.
hey, Winnipeg, I got one more year in me, Winnipeg. Hey, I'm only 37.
Yeah, you need a vet. Manny's ready, right?
Look. Yeah, player development role, coaching role. Yeah, I can get that done for him. But thanks a lot, man, Hernan, for everything.
Yeah, Manny, it was great catching up with you, and we'll talk in the near future, my guy.
All right, thanks. Appreciate y'all.
That's Emmanuel Arceneaux, former Elk, former CFLer, who does a lot of training now with kids, trains Blake Fiddler of the Edmonton Oil Kings. And overall, great dude, man.
Well, Blake's going to be like top 5 pick in the draft, I think. Like, that's how good he is. So, great guy, man. He's awesome. And our WSTers
invaded. That was awesome.
Came in and they liked Manny's pick. That's for sure.
They sure did. He is a popular man in Winnipeg right now. And thank you to the WSTers, the Hustlerites. 152 watching. That's awesome. 71 likes. We need more, Gager. Hey, listen, we don't even have to get to it. Let's get to 84 for Manny Arceneaux, the number he wore throughout his professional career. But always great. And he was a glue guy in the room.
Yeah.
You know what I liked about Manny is he had his stall, and they always sat a young receiver beside him. But he didn't, like, he wouldn't go out of his way to preach and be like, but if you asked him a question, he'd talk to you. He'd be like, hey, this is what you need to do. Like, he wasn't one of those guys that was in your face and all that, but he was just like so much knowledge and great knowledge, but he didn't go out of his way to like preach to the players. But if you came to him, it was great. So
that's great. Yeah,
he was absolutely excellent. Great interview, man.
I like guys that he's a vibe guy in the room, right?
Yeah.
Like, and you need those types of people. I like what he said about vets and the sprinkling of the younger talent to develop that culture and then keep it going.
Yeah,
right? I think that's the next step for the Elks and what they have to kind of do, stopping that revolving door.
Because after practice, the guys would put their phones in and they'd play music, and I always knew Manny was playing the music because it was just old school hip hop and some nice R&B. And I was like, great. That's my jam. I was like, I love this. Manny, are you on the speaker? He's like, yeah, why? I was like, because the music is actually good right now. The Double A says Manny was great, would be an awesome recurring guest. Yeah, I would. We can check into him maybe once a month. I mean, he's just absolutely fantastic. AB says, liked today because of Manny. That's the only reason, AB? Come on. What about Gager?
Who cares?
2:41 here. Coming up next, we'll wrap up this show and get you set for the Reed Wilkins Show with J Mill. They got a fun lineup coming up as well. And, of course, following the Reed Wilkins Show, it's the Oil Stream pregame show. Tom Gazzola and myself. Did Cass say he was off today, right?
He's off today. He's doing some family stuff. The guy's got big family, man.
Yeah, no, I know. He's really busy. Yeah,
3 girls. Jeez.
Yeah. And with the Oilers schedule, it's tough. Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot.
And I think one of them's playing hockey now. So, timing is very... Time management for Cass is basically non-existent.
So it might be Belzy, or it might not. It might just be me and Gazzola, but we'll have some fun.
Might even be me. I don't know.
Oh. I thought you were going to the game.
Well, yeah, I might use Maddie's parking spot in his building. So.
Oh, nice. How about that? A triple dose of guac.
That's too much.
We'll wrap up the show coming up next year with This Day in Sports History, and we'll talk whatever you guys want to talk about. Are you all in for an NHL in-season tournament? I say no. Gager says yes. What about the Oilers? What do you feel for tonight? We'll get some predictions. That's all coming up here on EST Afternoons. But first, our guy Zach with a sports update.
Former Oilers GM Ken Holland has been hired by the NHL as a hockey operations consultant. Holland won 4 Stanley Cups with the Red Wings as an executive before serving as the Oilers GM for 5 years. And it's the Oilers taking on the Islanders tonight with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas live for the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show at 6 o'clock right here on EST. There's 6 other games around the league, including the Rangers matching up with the Jets. Elsewhere, The Senators play the Maple Leafs, and the Flames face the Canucks with Vancouver's 2022 first-rounder Jonathan Lekarmäki making his NHL debut. And Dak Prescott will undergo surgery tomorrow to repair his partially torn hamstring and will be out for at least 3 months, missing the rest of the season for the Cowboys. And Prescott injured his hamstring in Dallas's game a couple weeks ago against the Falcons. Staying in football, the Miami Dolphins have claimed ex-Seahawk Tyrell Dodson. Over in basketball, the Raptors tip off with the Bucks having 8 games around the association. After a quick timeout, we return to EST Afternoons. I'm Zachary Kubusch for your sports update.
You want the heavy hitters on your team, both on and off the ice. If you've been injured in a car accident, call the heavy hitters of injury law. James H. Brown and Associates, Alberta Injury Lawyers. With over 200 years of combined injury law experience, their precedent-setting lawyers are ready to help. Locally owned and proud Edmonton Oilers fans, James H. Brown and Associates wants to support you with their unrivaled experience, unrivaled results, and unrivaled commitment. When accidents happen, head to jameshbrown.com.
780 is just another lame-ass, low-budget local shop. Homegrown right here in Edmonton. 780 is both the shop name and their in-house clothing brand that celebrates all things unique to E-Town. They also work with close to 1,000 local vendors from the 780 to help promote and get their brands off the ground. Check them out online at 780.com or at any of their 5 locations at Southgate, Londonderry, Kingsway, St. Albert, and the Outlet Mall by the airport.
Looking for a winning strategy for your retirement? Contact me, Joaquin Gage at K4 Financial, where expertise meets dedication. I will always look for a careful approach to your retirement, ensuring your financial future is secure. From tailored strategies to clear, actionable advice, I'm here to guide you every step of the way. Don't leave your future to chance. Get in touch with me, Joaquin Gage, today at k4financial.ca or email joaquin.gage@k4financial.ca to start planning for a brighter future and a more secure retirement.
It's 2:45 Tuesday afternoon. Joaquin Gage, Hernan Salas, Zachticum. Text us 780-218-9999. Hit us up on the nasty chat. Big thanks to the Winnipeggers that came over, gave us a view, gave us a thumbs up, and all the best to you. Like if you're in Winnipeg right now, you're loving it. Your team's 14-1 in the NHL. Your football team's going to your 5th straight Grey Cup with a really good chance to win because the other team has their backup. But I'd probably pick Winnipeg even if Chad Kelly was playing in this game.
Would you?
Yes.
See,
You're saying don't sleep on the Argonauts, though.
I'm saying, yeah, there's a big chip on the show. They're being counted out too much. You know how that works in football. Like,
yeah.
They're
and especially the CFL.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in a one-gamer,
Yeah.
if this is best of 3, yeah, but it's just one game, man.
Yeah, it's going to...
I can't wait.
Listen, if Winnipeg plays like they did against the Riders, I don't think they have a chance because they were good from the opening till the end.
Yeah.
Like Kenny Lawler was just unreal.
That was crazy.
Holy smokes, the defense. Also say this about the Riders. I think Trevor Harris is pretty good, but how many drop balls did the Riders have that game?
Too many.
Way too many. And special teams needed to be better. You need better from Alfred, Super Mario, who I don't know if he had a punt return or kick return for a touchdown this year. I think he had one maybe. But the way I can see the Argos winning is because they have the most electric returner, and their defense has really got to show up.
Yeah,
because Nick Arbuckle, he can manage the game. He doesn't need to be.
No, he doesn't.
Patrick Mahomes.
No, yeah.
He just needs to manage the game, not turn the ball over, and they can win this game.
Yeah.
But that's crazy. Imagine going to 5 straight Grey Cups.
No,
that's what the Eskimos did back in the late 70s, early 80s, but they won all 5. But you know what? I had a little bit like you're seeing them arrive in Vancouver yesterday, do media. I'm like, that must be so cool.
You know, you were talking about it's Princess Auto Stadium, right, in Winnipeg?
Yes.
And you're saying how great it was. And looking at it, I was like, yeah, it does look. It looks like a fun time.
Oh, man. Just think the Oilers or whatever. Great record off a Stanley Cup or whatever, and then the Elks are going to a Grey Cup for consecutive. Like the buzz in this city would be amazing.
It'd be great.
And I like what Manny said about, he goes, the culture has to come in with all the teams. Like the Oilers, the Elks, the Stingers, they should all be doing stuff together. And that's the way it was in the old day.
Yeah.
No, you're not on board for that?
No, yeah,
oh,
I am.
okay.
But there's, I think some organizations get a little greedy.
Yeah, and I think we all know who you're talking about, and it's just them.
I mean, this city, like how when the hockey season eventually is over in Edmonton, it was great last year because it went right into summer, right?
Yeah.
But, we have so many things to look forward to here. We're getting drenched in darkness that's going to last for the next few months, and then we're just like we're a budding flower in the spring, ready to spread our petals around and have fun. And we got the Riverhawks, we got the Stingers. There's all these outdoor activities, the concerts, the things that are available.
The festivals.
I mean, it was a few months ago. We were all sitting around and I told Tommy, I goes, Edmonton is actually voted one of the best, number one places to come for vacation in the summertime.
Yeah.
And we're like, what? I go, well, there's so many things going on and you can stay out till 11:30 at night, and it's still bright out.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
That's what a lot of the players that come from the States with the Elks, they'd be like, I can't believe how light it is until how late it gets.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but in the winter, like yesterday it was 4:30.
I know, it's terrible.
Man.
It's terrible. Driving it. I hate it.
I hate it.
I just
too,
hate
man.
it. It's very frustrating at times.
Let's see. Let's read some text, Gager. Kind of Redbeard says yes to in-season hockey tourney. Just reduce the number of regular season games and sprinkle the tournament games over the year.
That's it, Redbeard.
This one says, one thing I've never understood is dipping wings in a sauce. If the wings are done properly, they should stand on their own.
Yeah,
that's from Trevor.
That's true. That's true.
Like if I get a basket of wings, Gager, I don't use the sauce for every wing.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, but sometimes a wing needs some sauce. They can get a little dry.
Or like when they're really spicy.
Yeah. Well, usually with the super spicy, I get the sauce on side a lot of the times and just dip it in the really hot sauce because sometimes it's too hot. But I like it. Like just a dab will do you sometimes, right?
Yeah. Spency 5 cents. He says garlic bread dip in pasta sauce, and he also says Kinder's honey hot barbecue sauce. If anyone knows any stores that stock it, let me know. See, I'm not a big barbecue guy. Sauce.
No, really?
Mm-hmm.
I make a really good, like a pulled pork sauce. I mean, it's pretty easy to make. I use the apple cider vinegar, ketchup, cumin, chili pepper, salt, pepper. Fancy molasses is the key.
Interesting.
And you throw that in there. It gives you that tang with a little bit of heat. It's not too spicy, but that's what I basically, when I get a bottle of ketchup, and I'll just use that whole bottle, and I'll pour the sauce back in because that's what I use.
Yeah, for sure. That's interesting.
I'll make you a bottle. How about that?
Sure,
you can try it out.
Yeah. Do you like? We just bought the jerk chicken sauce. So good.
Yeah, that's hot.
Oh yeah.
I make my own jerk sauce sometimes. Yeah.
Moving on.
You walk. Yeah, come on, you're setting me up here.
Earmuffs. Rip City Step says, confused, Hernan. How can you like sports but hate the idea of competitions? Well, because I like the only competition that matters is winning the Stanley Cup.
Yeah. Okay.
I'd like to ask like legit NBA fans if they like the in-season tournament. I truly do.
I think it went well. They were sold out stadiums. It's not like people didn't go. The only thing that there was part of me that didn't like it was the load management. You know, they played sometimes teams played guys that didn't regularly play.
But Gage, okay, so you just made my point. A lot of those teams didn't care about the in-season thing.
Yeah, but I think after this year they'll go, oh, this is something here. You know.
Yeah. I don't know. How about this one from Mike, the Michigan fan? Darnell Nurse has never had a legit NHL D-man as a partner besides CZ with his time with the Oilers. Also, is Nurse the only guy on the ice for those goals against? The hatred for Nurse is beyond pathetic, and so is the praise for a D-man that can't defend, has zero defensive awareness. It can only turn one way when pivoting, and has to be paired with a stud D-man, or he's absolutely lost on the ice. That's Bouchard. Again, we said we're not blaming him for all the goals. Because you have to break down every goal the Oilers have allowed and see where Nurse comes in on those. We're not saying that. All we're saying is that he can be on the ice for 81% of the goals scored on the power play, and you can be on for 50% of the goals in total. Like, that's too much for a guy of his pedigree. Is that fair?
Yeah, this is where analytics really comes into play, right? I think you can look at past analytics to judge how a player's doing. And this is a concerning stat, I would say. Yeah. You know, but saying that, he has played well this year. I want to see more. I mean, I know he's capable of it. That's the thing.
He's too far. He's got too many games. He's almost 30 years old, and he's played a ton of hockey to still be at this stage in his career. Gage, is that fair?
Yeah, but he's shown some really good games. Like, you know, when he's physical, and I'm not saying fight every night, but
no, I know what you're saying.
There should be times when he is just.
Teams should want to hate to play against him.
He should be because he's getting the top minutes against the other team's best players, right? Mm-hmm. He should be in the face of a Nathan McKinnon.
Every chance he gets.
Let's
not Kiefer Sherwood.
No. Like tonight, I would love to see Darnell Nurse get in the face of Bo Horvat. Yeah, right. Like
Anders Lee.
Let him know it's going to the next 60 minutes or 65 or whatever it takes is going to be very, very difficult. And he has the ability to get players thinking more about him than they do on the game itself. And I think that's a quality lacking in the Edmonton Oilers, and they need more guys like that. And Evander Kane was a guy that did that. He made guys think about him a little bit more than the game itself. Corey Perry does that, but you add Darnell Nurse in there too. It's another element of the game I think that the Oilers lack right now.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. Again, I don't think Darnell Nurse is a terrible defenseman. I also don't think he's lived up to what we thought he would be, which there's comparisons to some really great defensemen, but he's somewhere in between. And when he's good, he's really good, Gager. And when he's bad, it's alarming. And that's all we're saying, that you can't be on the ice for that many goals at this stage in his career. And again, you have to put context into it, because you have to look at all the goals and see where he was at, because maybe half of those goals are not even his fault, Gager.
Oh,
right?
Yeah. They're not all him. Yeah. You know, like.
Of course not. Yeah. That's not what we're saying. Rip City says, I guess I'm not a legit NBA. No, I'm saying if we polled like Rip City Step and let's say 50 other NBA hardcore fans, I wonder what the poll would look like if they enjoyed the in-season tournament. And if their team won it, how happy you would be. Because I think there's a difference, right?
Easy. Nurse is paired with 6'7" defensemen. Yes. Probably doesn't help with the entire fan base piles. No, that doesn't help. But as a professional athlete, at his caliber, I mean, you got to realize that for all the people that pile on Darnell Nurse, and I know we've put a little dirt on that today with a shovel, but there's also a greater part of Northern Alberta that wants him to succeed and have tons of success. And it's a little tool that players can use when, you know, it's hard to block that kind of stuff out. But he's got to realize that there's more people wanting him to do well than there is people wanting him to do poorly.
And it's tough because in this day and age with social media, and it is our job to break down the game and talk about the good and bad about every player and the teams that we cover. So it is tough, and I get it, but he just needs to steady it. And Skinner being upset at him, I didn't have a problem with it. I think it wasn't just Darnell. I think he was frustrated with the whole crew and himself because the PK is really bad right now. But we got to get out of here. It's 2:58.
We do.
Thank you to everybody for watching and listening. Manny Arceneaux was fantastic. Go check it out. He was at 2:20. We are also joined by Stefen Rosner, Islanders beat reporter for NHL.com. A great preview on the Islanders, and we're at 83 thumbs up. Let's hit one more for 84 for Manny Arceneaux's number, and Hernan will shut up about the thumbs up. But we'll be back tomorrow to break down the game. I know Zach's working hard on a UFC and a boxing reporter or guest.
Oh, we need to
for the big fight on Friday, Tyson Paul. So we're gonna have fun on this show throughout the week. For Joaquin Gage and Zachticum, I'm Hernan Salas. Thank you for tuning in to EST Afternoons. Reed Wilkins and Jay Milne up next, followed by the Old Stream pregame show with Tom Gazzola. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Enjoy the game tonight. We'll talk tomorrow. Ciao.
Edmonton Sports Talk delivers a mass audience of key, influential customers to your business, all while you associate your company brand with the biggest names, the hottest sports news, and teams from every league around the globe. It's where fans go to get their sports fix and where our partners find the most loyal consumers. Contact us today and see how our team on Edmonton Sports Talk can score the biggest goals for your business. With various advertising options available, email business@edmontonsportstalk.com or head to our website, edmontonsportstalk.com.